Hash the returns. The silence in my childhood living room was heavier than any words my family had ever spoken. I stood in the doorway of my parents' house for the first time in 7 years, and not a single person moved. My mother clutched her teacup like a shield. My father hadn't yet looked up from the newspaper, the same newspaper now featuring a full-page photograph of my face above the headline. The man who brought deserts to life. Drew, my younger sister's voice cracked on my name. She was staring at the television where a documentary about my work was playing. The screen showed the Salton Creek Restoration Project, land I had transformed from toxic wasteland into a thriving wildlife corridor, the same project that had just won the Global Environmental Impact Award. The same project that had made me, according to Forbes, the most influential ecological restorationist of our generation. I had imagined this moment 1,000 times. In my fantasies there was shouting, accusations. My father finally admitting he was wrong. Instead there was only that terrible silence. You want to know what it feels like to be told you're an embarrassment? Let me paint you a picture. I was 22 years old, standing in this very room, holding a business plan for a sustainable land rehabilitation company. I had spent 3 years studying ecology on my own, working as a day laborer to save money, teaching myself soil science from library books. I had a vision: bare, broken land stripped by industrial farming and the knowledge of how to bring it back to life. My father laughed, actually laughed. You want to play in the dirt for a living? He tossed my business plan onto the coffee table like it was trash. We've worked our whole lives to give you opportunities, and this is what you do. You want to be a asterisk farmer. I want to restore ecosystems, I said. It's not farming, it's a fantasy. My mother cut me off. You're going to be a joke. Every family dinner, everyone will ask what happened to the boy who thought he could fix the earth with his hands. It's humiliating. My brother, who just graduated from law school, didn't even look up from his phone. Just get a real job, Drew. You're embarrassing yourself. I tried to speak, to explain about the soil microbiome, about photosynthesis, about what happens when you reintroduce native species to degraded land. But they weren't listening, they weren't going to listen. That night I packed a bag and left. My mother didn't come to the door. The first 3 years nearly broke me. I slept in my truck, I ate one meal a day, sometimes none. I took any job that let me work with land, clearing brush, planting trees, cleaning up contaminated sites that nobody else wanted to touch. I made mistakes, big ones. I trusted the wrong people. I lost money. I nearly lost hope. There were nights I sat alone under the stars, staring at barren earth, wondering if they were right. Maybe I was ridiculous. Maybe I was chasing a dream that couldn't save me, let alone the land I wanted to save. But here's what kept me going. Every time I put seeds in broken soil, something answered, not metaphorically, literally. The earth responded, worms returned, microbes awakened. Slowly, impossibly, life came back. I learned that restoration isn't about forcing nature to obey, it's about removing what damages it and getting out of the way. The land wanted to heal, it just needed someone to believe in it. By year 5, I had my first breakthrough. A contaminated cattle ranch in Central California, Chinese letter destroyed by decades of chemical runoff, declared a total loss by the EPA. I took the job for free, working 18-hour days, experimenting with bioremediation techniques no one thought would work. 6 months later, grass grew. A year after that, wildflowers. 3 years later, the ranch was a thriving habitat, and a wildlife organization bought it for triple what I'd been paid. Word spread, slowly at first, then all at once. I couldn't keep up with the demand. Governments, corporations, private landowners, they all wanted what I had, the ability to bring dead land back to life. By year 7, I had a company with 300 employees. We had restored over 50,000 acres across 4 countries. I'd spoken at the United Nations. I'd been on the cover of Time magazine, and every step of the way, no one from my family had called. I didn't come here to fight, I said, finally breaking the silence. I came because this is still my home. My father folded the newspaper, very slowly. Then he looked at the photograph of my face, then at me, then back at the photograph. The Salton Creek Project, he said quietly, that's real, that's actually you. 7 years of work. He nodded, something shifted in his expression, not quite shame, not quite pride, something more complicated, something human. Your mother, he started, then stopped. He looked at her. She was crying silently, still clutching her teacup, tears streaming down her face. I tried to call, she whispered, after the first year, but your father said. He said you'd come back when you failed and we should wait. I felt something loosen in my chest, not forgiveness, not yet, but something adjacent to it. I almost did fail, I said. Every day I almost gave up. The only thing that kept me going was knowing that I wasn't ridiculous, that what I was doing mattered, that the land didn't care what anyone thought, it just needed someone to believe it could heal. My brother finally put down his phone. He stopped, started again. I didn't think you'd actually, we really thought. You thought I was a joke. The words hung in the air, no one denied them. I spent 3 days at home. We didn't talk about the past, not really, but my father asked me questions about my work. My mother cooked my favorite meals, the ones I hadn't eaten since I was a teenager. My sister asked if she could visit the Salton Creek project. On the last morning before I left, my father met me at the door. I was wrong, he said, just that, 4 words that had taken 7 years to arrive. I know, I said. I didn't tell him it was okay, it wasn't entirely, not yet, maybe someday, but I told him something else, something that had taken me years to understand. The land taught me something, Dad. Restoration isn't about proving people wrong, it's about proving that broken things can heal, even when everyone says they can't. He looked at me for a long moment, then he did something he'd never done before. He put his hand on my shoulder. The drive away from my childhood home felt different than the drive away 7 years ago. That night, I was running from judgment. This morning, I was driving toward a future I'd built with my own 2 hands. Here's what I know now: you can't control who believes in you. Sometimes the people who should love you unconditionally are the ones who hurt you deepest. They might never apologize, they might never change. But you can control what you do with the pain, you can let it destroy you, or you can use it as fuel. And sometimes, the most powerful revenge isn't revenge at all. It's simply becoming the person they said you couldn't be, and living a life so full, so meaningful, so undeniably successful that their silence becomes the loudest acknowledgement of all. The land taught me that broken things can heal. It took me 7 years to learn it could apply to people too, even the ones who broke you.